at the Khadi Utsav organized on the banks of Sabarmati River, Ahmedabad yesterday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the pledge of Khadi for transformation has been added to the pledge of Khadi for nation and Khadi for fashion. He said in the last 8 years, production of Khadi has grown 4 times. For the first time, its turnover has crossed rupees 1 lakh crore, and top brands are showing interest in this traditional fabric of India. Chitra ji, how do you see the emerging role of Khadi in India, and what is the significance of organizing events like Khadi Utsav?
Khadi as a word reminds me of our national flag and the indigo blue wheel in the center of our national flag. So at one time we used to refer to this as the charkha, which was a symbol of non-violent and a creative way of revolting and asking for freedom from colonial rule. So starting from those early days to now, it has come a very, very long way, diversified into many different products which are of a contemporary relevant usage, and with constant support and cooperation with fashion designers and contemporary designers, diversification has helped Khadi reach to not just the elite and the luxury segment, but also it has grown out from a grassroots level where people in the villages have been able to identify with the craft and contributed to the growth of Khadi in a very big way. So I look forward to more festivals like these where Khadi is celebrated, and it always remains as a memory in our national culture that new generations also keep connected to the roots of why Khadi is literally a fabric of the nation.
Chitra ji, during the Khadi Utsav, in keeping with completion of 75 years of Indian independence, 7,500 women Khadi artisans from various districts of Gujarat spun the charkha simultaneously. What is the role of women in promotion of Khadi, and can you tell us more about the concept and benefits of community weaving?
The idea of community weaving is very powerful in this context because the kind of community weaving I'm able to do with stories and storytelling is a metaphoric kind of a weaving, whereas for women who are Khadi weavers and Khadi spinners, for them it's a real fact because it has grown like that from one woman to another, and how many movements in India have had women as the key bearers, culture bearers, and this again reminds me of the village in Karnataka in the Dharwad district, Bengeri village, which has the sole license to make the national flag. How it is a cooperative act of all of the women who were first employed, the unemployed women who were first given the task of spinning the cotton, weaving the yarn, and then stitching them together. So this is happening across smaller districts in Karnataka. So the role of women here is actually of primal importance because it's also not just an act of employment, it's also an act of sisterhood that emerges, this act of stitching and weaving and spinning. And if this could grow from one village to another village, I can see it grow from one country to another country. So this is not just an act of skill sharing, but it's also a concept of sharing the spirit of self-reliance and commitment to self-growth and progress. So this is very much what Gandhi had talked about in Purna Swaraj or Swaraj. So yes, women have a very great role of not just reaching out to fellow women, but also passing on the values to the next generation through their own families.
Absolutely. Chitra ji, Khadi is an example of sustainable and eco-friendly clothing and an ideal fabric for countries with high temperatures. Do you see the Prime Minister's dream of Khadi for nation, Khadi for fashion becoming a reality, and Khadi not only promoting development and self-reliance in the country, but also gaining worldwide significance and outreach?
Very much. I think Khadi, through the work of a lot of contemporary fashion designers, has already made its mark as a versatile fabric, as something that can be seen as in non-traditional silhouettes and forms as a clothing material. But Khadi has also seen itself transform into a fabric that can be molded into any everyday contemporary modern lifestyle product, of lifestyle use in the household or in work use or anything. So its versatility has now been proven in the last few years. Going forward, I see it as a model of transformation which India has championed, that some other country can also follow. And this idea of sustainable development and sustainable growth has also been a reaction to the discourse around climate change and global warming. And with raising temperatures, one is looking at a lifestyle that adapts to this rising temperature. One would need clothing that is more versatile. Instead of switching between warm and hot clothes, what if Khadi could be that versatile fabric that keeps you warm and cool in in varying weathers. So as a solution to the lifestyle problem, also as a model of innovation that any other country can emulate and learn from and localize, I think India can be that role model for any other country. So yes, it surely has a lot of power.
In his address yesterday, the Prime Minister asked all Indians to give products of Khadi Gramodyog as gifts in the upcoming festive seasons and include Khadi in their wardrobes to give a boost to the vocal for local movement. He cited the recent success achieved in the toy industry. Do you see Khadi industry also achieving similar success in the coming times?
Yes, I think it has come a long way, and a very good move by the Khadi Village Industries Commission has been to launch their own e-commerce platform so that they can be relevant and actually stand side by side to some of the other e-commerce platforms that youth of the country are now accessing with a flick of a button in their mobile phones. So it makes these grassroots makers and producers directly connect with their end users and consumers. So the platform itself is a very good move, and the platform also mentions or invites people to become Khadipreneurs, and that gives a boost to the way Khadi will be accepted and created and how it transforms in changing the way the marketplace looks. So gifts and festivities are occasions for us to give gifts, and somewhere Khadi has this very subtle link with anything that's handmade. Hands have a great place in our culture in India, whether it is hand to, greet someone with generosity or gift someone with generosity. I think in keeping that theme in line, gifting of Khadi will just reinforce that theme of Indianness even in 21st century. So that's a very great suggestion by the Prime Minister, and also for youngsters and the youth of the country, which India can pride to have a very young population, will probably be able to take this vision forward by supporting Khadi and also being active consumers of Khadi.
The Prime Minister said years back Khadi became the strength of the freedom movement, and the Khadi Utsav is an inspiration to achieve future glory for India, for the new India, he said. What, according to you, has been and will be the role of designers like you in increasing the popularity of Khadi among people?
I feel the role we play starts from where we start learning. So it starts from our design schools and our classrooms, where knowing this history and seeing it as a part of Indian heritage and Indian history of design, because the spinning wheel is itself is an epitome of design, which is indigenous, and it is moving on from there about the kind of varieties it has diversified from just using cotton as a fiber, but also weaving silk and woolen threads, and how it's been adapted with the interface with technology coming in. So there's a whole history and legacy attached to the various designs in Khadi. So it starts with the design schools and design classrooms, and also pushing it towards the stage of business development and innovation, which not just looks at something far-fetched and completely techno-based, but also involving the weaving communities and creating sustainable business models where not just consumerist ideas are there, but actually reaching out to other sectors. So I'm looking at not consumer products alone, but maybe even healthcare or hospitality, or even innovative entrepreneurial grassroots development happening with Khadi as a centerpiece of ecosystem change. So yes, I feel designers have a role in being mindful and sensitive of this legacy and being mindful of adding it as a fuel to what is Indian design.
So Khadi for nation, Khadi for fashion, to Khadi for transformation brings immense benefits not only for India but the entire world, with the hope and belief that collective efforts will catapult the Khadi movement to a revolution. We thank you, Chitra ji, for this inspiring discussion.
Thank you.